We're here today on Heart Media Day with Baker University head men's basketball coach Sean Dooley. Coach, heading into year 5 this season. Like we said, this is my 5th year as well, so it's going fast. Let's talk about your team. You've got the preseason. You guys have been going at it for a couple of weeks now. What have you guys been working on so far in the preseason?
Well, I think it's probably similar to just about every year and probably every team in the country. You got to kind of go back and start with your fundamentals and your principles, both from a defensive and offensive standpoint. It's nice. We have 12 guys returning from last year's team. So from an understanding of kind of expectations and how we want to do things, it's great. They obviously remember it and can pick it up. But, when we're away from our guys as much as we are over the summer, you kind of sometimes they'll pick up some bad habits or get back to doing some things that we try to take out. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. We're about 2 weeks in, which is great. They're starting to get back and have an understanding, especially our new guys, of how we want to operate and do things. And hopefully we'll continue to learn and grow as we progress throughout this preseason, because the start of the season in November 1st, when we open up with Ottawa, is right around the corner.
Like you mentioned, you do have a big group of returners back. You've got 2 of the last 3 Hart Freshmen of the Year, and Javion Gray, and then last year Clay Martin. How do you hope that benefits your team with so many returners this year?
Well, I think it's kind of interesting. You mentioned Clay and Javion there and being Freshman of the Year, and it's similar with our individuals and those 2 as well as our team. It's a nice award and honor to get that as a freshman. Now, hopefully, those guys can make the next step up into being all-league type level players. And it's also the same kind of thought process I have right now with our team. I thought last year with so many of these guys, they experienced what this league is all about. They had some success. I thought they were very competitive with a lot of the teams, especially the top teams in our league. But we didn't win as much as we want to. And it's one thing to be competitive. It's another thing to have success. And I think that's what this group's looking to do this year, is one of those things where competing is one thing, but finding the ways to win those games down the stretch and do it consistently, not just from 1 week, but to do it over the course of the season. So, that growth and finding ways to be successful is what we're looking for, both from an individual standpoint, but also from a team standpoint.
Let's break down your team a little bit. Let's start on the offensive side. Last year, you had some strong outside shooting. A lot of those guys back. Talk to us about what type of offense you hope to run this year, and what do you hope works well for you offensively?
Yeah, we did. I thought we were very pleased with our success and what we were able to do offensively. We return all our guards from last year's team, so there's definitely that experience factor there. I think one of our strong points was our ability to shoot from the outside, so we look to continue to do that. In terms of how we'll play and everything, it's kind of still a work in progress. We brought in 4 new pieces. They're all forwards. 1 junior college transfer, 3 freshmen that have all stepped in and done some nice things already. As we get them integrated into our mix to see what we can do, and we've got to be able to adapt to their skill set, as well as them, learning how we want to do things. So it's still kind of a work in progress, but hopefully we'll be able to continue on some of the things that we did well last year. I think probably the one Achilles heel we had was just kind of some unforced turnovers. We got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. But again, with those guards going through it in the last year, I think they have a better understanding, and they understand the importance of sharing the ball and taking care of the ball.
How about defensively? You've got, like you said, a lot of returners in different spots, from bigs to guards. What do you hope to accomplish defensively in this tough conference?
Well, it is tough, and there's a lot of great players and a lot of good coaches, and you kind of see a lot of different systems. So I think the big thing for us last year I thought we kind of lacked an inside presence. We weren't very big, weren't athletic in there, didn't really have much rim protecting. So it put a lot of pressure on us on the perimeter not to get beat and everything else. But I think hopefully we address some of those issues with the recruitment of like I said, those 4 forwards. That will give us an ability to kind of have some presence inside there and protect the rim. But definitely we got to do a better job. When we had success last year, it was because it was started on the defensive end, and I thought we were very inconsistent there. We need to clean that up. We need to be better on that end, and in order for us to again take that next step. So the guys realize that they're working hard right now, and hopefully they'll continue to learn and grow on that end.
Coach, with the addition of a few more conference teams, this jumps your conference schedule up to a few more games. How do you hope the team adjusts to that new conference schedule with so many additional conference games?
Well, I think it's kind of twofold. From a physical standpoint, it's not much different for our guys, I don't think. Because we're still playing the same amount of games, and I think since I've been here, we've always tried to go out and play a tough non-conference schedule to prepare yourself for the conference games. But I think probably the interesting thing to see how it unfolds is the mental aspect of it, and knowing that every game matters. This league is tough. It always comes down to seeding, whether you're at the top of the conference or middle, bottom, whatever. It always comes down to one game, and sometimes there's even a lot of ties in there or whatever. So understanding that game in November has equal importance as a game in the last week of February. And I think sometimes guys, that are first getting into it and don't really understand that. And so from the value of understanding every possession, every game matters, it's going to be interesting to see not just how it unfolds for our guys, but throughout and across the league. That's where our experience comes in. It's where maturity comes in. And just overall leadership from a player standpoint to try to get guys to be focused and maintain that focus throughout the duration of the season. So, a lot of teams play 2 months of conference play, and that's tough, both physically and mentally. But for us to be literally doing it over 4 months will be very interesting to see how it unfolds. Hopefully our experience that we have with this group will be better suited for it. But it's going to be a learning process for the players as well as us as coaches. So it's just one of those things where you probably can't get too high, but not too low as well. And we've got to work hard to get ready, because literally it's going to be our fourth game in. This year will be our first conference game, but literally the second weekend of the season. So we've got to be prepared. So I think our guys know that. We've made sure to mention it to them that the focus of our practices in this preseason are of utmost importance.
Well, thank you, Coach, for your time here on Heart Media Day. We look forward to seeing your team in a couple weeks.
All right, thank you.
We are here today on Heart Media Day for the 2016-17 Baker University men's basketball season. We're joined today by senior guard Tyrone Parker. Tyrone, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
So how's the preseason going so far? You guys have been going after it for a while, getting ready for the season. What have you guys been working on so far in preseason?
So far, we just trying to introduce the new system to the new players, because we got a lot of new players and we look forward to them playing this year. So basically, we've been trying to focus on how we can teach them everything in a short amount of time that we do have.
How has the group been looking so far this season? You've got a nice group of returners back, a couple of new guys. Tell us about the team and how you guys look.
So far, it looked good. Everybody is being leaders towards the newcomers and towards each other. Everybody's accepting their new roles and all of that. We're really guard heavy, so it's really hard trying to figure out who's gonna play what and do what for our team. So basically, we just focus on picking out roles and stuff like that.
Let's talk about your role. You'll be, one of the senior leaders this year. What do you anticipate your role to be on the team, on the floor, but then also off the floor?
On the floor, I just want to stay consistent. Coach always talks to me about being consistent and doing what's best for the team and knowing what I can do personally. So basically, just focusing on doing the right thing at the right moments and leading each other to figure out the common goal that we want to do.
From a leadership standpoint, how do you see that role coming about for you this year as a senior?
Being a senior, I basically just got to show everybody the ropes. We're focusing on this year, but we also focusing on the program as a whole and bettering the program. So just showing them what it takes to play here at Baker.
Coming up this season, you guys will start off on the road with a few tournaments at Columbia, etc. Then you'll begin. You really won't have much of a non-conference schedule because of the large conference schedule. So talk about how tough it is to play in the Heart and your expectations for this year.
Basically, to go out there and leave it all on the floor, because this conference is set to where the last team could beat the first team and so forth. So it's very balanced. The balance of the conference really shows that this is why it's the Heart of America Conference.
What do you think our team needs to do to take it to the next level? Last few years we've been able to beat some of the top teams, but then come the end of the season, maybe we didn't want to end it the way we wanted. What steps do we need to take it to the next level?
I mean, my few years here, we used to have some bad practices and stuff like that. So basically in practice, taking advantage of all the time that we have in practice to better ourselves as a team and as a person. So basically just staying consistent, because we can go on winning streaks. So it's 2 or 3, and then we'll lose 2 or 3. So basically staying focused on the one common goal, and that's to get better every day.
Let's break down the team a little bit. First off, on the offensive side, what type of team do you anticipate will be this year?
We're focusing on being the same team we were last year, by spreading the defense out, and basically attacking the basket more and shooting threes. Last year we were ranked in 3-point percentages and stuff like that, so we're trying to focus on that again and just basically bettering our percentages more and more as we can.
Defensively, we've always had a tough defensive mindset. What do you see us doing this year defensively?
This year we're focusing on pressing the ball more and actually getting in our our offensive players. So this year he's really pushing us to stay in the stance and help side and communication. So mostly it's just playing your role on defense, but helping the team as well while you're playing your role on defense.
Last question for you. This will be your last season here playing for the Wildcats. You've been here throughout your career in college. Talk about what it means to you to put on that Baker uniform and play one more year of college.
It means a lot to me. Coming here, I really didn't know what I was going to get myself into, but Coach Dooley and the Baker University staff took me in and made me a better player on the court and off the court.
Well, Tyrone, we really appreciate your time being a part of Heart Media Day, and good luck as we see your team play here at home in a few weeks.